Okay, so I guess we'll get started here. Hi, I'm Zach, everyone. So anyway, we're just going to talk a little bit about keyboard shortcuts and how they apply to SiteManager. It's pretty neat, the stuff you can do and how well it speeds up your process if you learn some basic keyboard shortcuts. So we'll just cut to it right here. Let me get to SiteManager here. Okay, what's cool about SiteManager is that it takes advantage of keyboard shortcuts quite well. And if you ever want to know what they are, they're pretty easy to find. If you look in the drop-down menus up here, you can see your operations that you want to do, and the next thing over to it are your keyboard shortcuts for those things. Now, another cool thing is that I don't even need my mouse to get up there. I hit my Alt key. You can see up there in the upper left corner there, the file highlights. And then I can use my down arrows to go down through the options, or I can use my side arrows to go to each menu topic. I can hit my Alt key again to get out of it. Let's see. So if I hit Control M, and you can see that the main panel is already up, but now I've activated the window. And another cool thing about this, I'm not touching my mouse yet. I can use my side arrow keys to pick the different tabs. If I use the tab key, I can tab between the tab and the icons. And so then from there, I can use my arrow keys to pick the one I want and hit enter. And so being able to do that with the keyboard, you can see it goes a lot more quickly than having to find your mouse pointer and then aim it and double click. I have a problem a lot. I have multiple screens, and so it's hard for me and frustrating sometimes in one of those little first world ways that I can't find my mouse pointer sometimes, and it gets just one of those little irks. So this is something that allows me to traverse through SiteManager a lot more quickly. Now from here, I can use my tab key again to tab through all the active fields that I can fill out and work with. Unfortunately here, I could not find a way. I still have to use my mouse to select my tabs up at the top here. But once I'm in one of those, I can use my keyboard to go through it. Neat thing about the tab key as well is, this is one of my favorite things, is if you hold the shift key down and use tab, you can go backwards. So if I go forward, I went too far, hold the shift key down, and then I can tab backwards and get back to the field that I missed. Okay, so this is another cool thing. If I want to close this window, I hit Control F4. It takes me back to the main panel, and from here, I can get back to if I need to go somewhere else and go from there. Now, if I'm at a specific thing, our menu options change up at the top once this loads. So again, I'm going to hit my Alt key instead of use my mouse, and now I can look at my menu options, and there's a lot more here. And most of the ones we're going to work with are like open and close, new, delete, and save, sometimes refresh. And you'll see a pattern here where the letter control sometimes is related to the word. So Control O for open. We can't use Control C for close because Control C is for copy. These are some basic ones that actually are pretty standard across most applications that are on a PC. If you remember these, you can use them in other programs as well, not necessarily just SiteManager. Now, where SiteManager gets a little bit proprietary is it's got its own sorts of keyboard shortcuts for some of its specific commands. And these get a little more hairy, but depending on how often you use them, they're pretty easy to remember. Hitting the Control-Alt-G for generic fields, R for remarks. They use the letter U for custom. Same with the window. You can Shift F4 or Shift F3, and you can, if you've got multiple windows open in SiteManager, you can move them around. So I'm going back to the main panel, and just to demonstrate that, I am going to pick, let's see, there we go. Open up change orders. So now I've got multiple windows open. I can either hit my Alt key and go up to the window and come down here and pick one of these. I guess that didn't work, did it? There we go. So I've tiled them next to each other without using my mouse, and now I can see both screens real easily and go on with my business. Now, say I want to get rid of this window, I can Control F4. That's going to close that. No. And I can use my arrow key to hit no. Same with that. It makes this window active now. I can close that and get back to my main panel. So really, there's not a whole lot to keyboard shortcuts. It makes moving around a lot more easily, and you can get to where you want a little less struggle. Like, I just have so much problem with the mouse sometimes that doing this allows me to get to where I want to go really quick. Let's see, what else can I show you about keyboard shortcuts? My boss, Ty, he likes to use the analogy, it's like learning to play the piano. You know, it might take you a little bit to figure out the key combinations, but once you do, they become second nature to you, and you can get on with what you need to do. So let's see, hit my Alt key again. That's going to show me I can look at all my options I have here. Yeah, cut, copy, and paste are big common ones. Control V, Control C, Control X. Undo is a big one I use. And then all the fun stuff that goes with that. So then once we're done, say I filled something out in here. I'll hit my Alt key to get back to this, tabbing through it. Make some change, Control S, saves it. And then I can Control F4, close it, and move on to the next thing. So as you can see, there's not a whole lot of substance to keyboard shortcuts, but they can do a whole lot to really make your day go a lot more smoothly and get your work done a lot more efficiently by allowing yourself to move through the forms and move through the data entry stuff. No. So anyway, does anybody have any questions? Some specific process that you're using that you might see that would work better with some keyboard shortcuts? Well, if that's it, then I guess we will close this meeting with a thank you very much for hanging out, and you guys have a great day.